I'm going to use this for today. Mama Roach. Whoever came up with that, yeah, Mama Roach thumbnail. I know, right? It's so her. AI is great. So Jimmy Fallon is on for me. I think yeah, an hour and a half. He'll be there in an hour and a half. So by the time, right around the time that I finish, or maybe I'll do a live reaction. How about that? Maybe. Let's see if YouTube doesn't block me. Um, she said to support her in her new K-pop. Blah blah blah. It seems like she really has backers. Maybe she's ready to buy out flop pants. Okay, let's do a timeline, so that we're all in the same page. And then if there's any questions about, because I'm going to be skipping some like super duper tiny details of everything that happened. So I'm going to give you the important milestones. Hi, Spring Day. Pretty in pink. Pinay, Yonsei. It's too cute to be her. You think that's cute? Okay. That is disgusting for, I don't like cockroaches, so that's disgusting for me. Okay, it actually started 2021 November. This is when HYBE actually announced the establishment of Adore, and she was assigned as the CEO of Adore. In Later on, there is a part where I will be explaining what happened according to dispatch, but this is the official beginning of everything. She was given her own agency, and she was assigned as the CEO of Adore and given full independence on how she was going to run it. Now, after that, March of 2021, Chaewon and Sakura signed with Source Music. If you would remember, there's this famous picture of Bang Shiuk with Sakura and Chaewon. They were the biggest stars of IZ*ONE. And so they were signed up by Bang Shiuk. This should also give you an idea on how reliant and confident Bang Shiuk was on Sakura's um, popularity, because basically he was really just hinging on Sakura. 2021 of May 2022 of May 2021, G Friend disbanded to everyone's shock, because just I think a month or two before that, Bang Shiuk was actually talking about how great the music is, and then they disbanded. To this day, no one has really been able to explain why they disbanded, but they apparently have been on friendly terms with Source Music, that when they decided to reunite, they decided to do it with Source Music. May 2 of uh, May 2 20 May 22. Sorry, I switched the dates. May 22 of May of 2021, Les Seraphim debuted. Yeah, there are speculations that it was MHJ, that the Mama Roach, that actually disbanded G Friend. So Les Seraphim debuted, but there were six members. I don't know if you remember the sixth girl, but she was actually being hailed as the next it girl of K-pop, because she's so pretty, and her name is Kim Garam. So everyone, and she was going to. I think she is the second youngest. I think Chewon was not Chewon. Unche is still the youngest, and she's the second youngest. But she has a great voice, and she's so pretty that she was instantly being hailed as the next it girl of um of K-pop. In fact, everyone was saying that she's the next Jenny, but Jenny that can sing, stuff like that. Anyway, she was put on hiatus May 19 because of the bullying allegations. Do remember that even before they began, when you know how they usually reveal the teasers, the pictures of the members. When Kim Garam's picture came out, when her teaser came out, and she was introduced as a member, people started accusing her. Some people on her middle school accused her of being a bully. HYBE actually stood by her for a really long time before they decided to drop her. Okay. Now, 2022, July 22, 2022, New Jeans debuted with Attention, and it was a surprise drop. There were no teasers. Later on, it was revealed it was actually Herin's idea, the youngest member, who came up with the idea to not have any kind of teaser and to just start dropping the songs, the music videos, one by one. Meanwhile, April 16, so this was before the debut of April 16, 2024, Hot 100, for the first time, I'll It actually um, made it to Billboard Hot 100. Okay. Anyway, I'm jumping the gun. Um, April 22, 2024, HYBE, it was leaked to the media that HYBE was auditing. So the leak actually happened while the thing was happening, that they were auditing Adore. Okay. Um, on the same day, HYBE released some initial result of their audit. And according to the initial release that they had, they said that there were leaks of core information, so information of the company, and the trainees information, medical information of the different artists were actually leaked to the media by Adore and by Mama Roach. They also said that there were efforts, according to their audit, there were efforts to seize management rights by attracting external investors. There were also inappropriate external consultations and irregularities in personnel hiring. So, since Mama Roach had complete control over the agency, she was actually able to hire anybody she wanted and also fire anybody she wanted. About a day after this audit, there were also talks. Mama Roach actually accused the auditors of harassing one of her employees and even going to the house of the employee, which Hyde later on explained happened with the consent of the employee, and there was only one person who went with her to her own apartment. Now, in the initial result of the audit, um, Hybe was already able to identify the investors that Mama Roach was actually meeting with, and those were the government of Singapore Investment Corporation, or GIC, and the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. So according to them, according to their initial audit result, these are the two agencies or companies that she was meeting with in an effort to try and gain control of Hybe. And the game plan was to force Hybe into selling their share, the bigger share of the business. And there were also, according to Hive, there were also sentences in the documents that they found stating that they were trying to look for ways on how they can actually sell the ownership of Hive and stuff like that. Okay. Now, April 22, still the same day, the snake, or Mama Roach, released her official statement, and she said that she is not to blame with everything that was happening, and that it was actually Hybe's fault because she filed a complaint against B Lift Lab because B Lift Lab was copying or plagiarizing her group New Jeans. So specifically, the allegations included the hair. They said that the hair and makeup were very much the same, the outfits and the choreography, and and visual similarities between New Jeans and I'll It. Okay. Now, she was also complaining about fans or netizens comparing her girls to I'll It, and even calling I'll It a group with her style, with Mama Roach style. Now, she also said that because Bang Shiyuk is directly involved in the production of I'll It, she's accusing Bang Shiyuk of copying her style. This is the style that she says are similar. I don't know, except for the black hair, long black hair, which she doesn't really own. I don't know where the similarity is. It's very different, but according to her, it is the same. Okay. April 2022, she did an interview with Daily Sports. And in that interview, she said that she stated several things, one of which is that Hybe framed her filing a complaint as a way to try and weaken Hybe's control over Adore, and she was denying it. Um, According to other newspapers, Mama Roach said that I'll It copied New Jeans um, and even Rise also copied New Jeans. So she's saying that it's not just It that's copying her, but even groups of other agencies like Rise. Okay. Um, April 22, so it's still the same day. Many netizens already started noticing some patterns in the way that she was talking, in the way that she was presenting her case, specifically the hypocrisy behind complaining of It allegedly using the name of New Jeans for them. She's complaining that many fans would constantly compare It to her group, when in fact she did the same thing. She was using the name of BTS, calling her group as BTS's younger sister. So the younger sister of BTS. So basically, people are saying, why is she complaining about It being about her group being used by It when she's doing the same thing? She's also using BTS's name for her own group. So this was very early in this entire chaos. The same day that the leak of the audit happened, all of these things already started. But notice that no one is saying this anymore. No one is reminding people that she also used BTS's name. Okay. Now, April 2024, Dispatch came out with their own report explaining how Mama Roach, so they had an initial report explaining how Mama Roach actually stole her group from Source Music. So they had receipts, they had training photos, proving that the girls, three of the girls that she had actually first started with Source Music. So according to the report, they said that in the first quarter of 2023, High Board of Directors allowed her, and also aside from that, they also explained how she was able to get 18% ownership of Adore. So, and this is their explanation, because a lot of people were asking, why was she given 18%? She wasn't given 18%, she bought it, but she bought it with the money that she borrowed from Bang Shiyuk. Okay, so in the first quarter of 2023, the High Board of Directors allowed her to purchase Adore stocks at a low price instead of stock options. So there's a difference between stock options and stocks. Min Hee Jin, because she bought stocks, she was able to avoid the 45% tax that she would have had to pay had she purchased stock options. So because the Adore at that time wasn't yet in the positive, this was very early in their career, 2023, first quarter of 2023, and they debuted middle of June of 2022. At that time, they were still in the negative. They weren't earning yet. And so that's why she was able to purchase the stocks at a low price, because at that time she was purchasing the stock of a company that was still not earning a lot of money. Okay. Now, if Min Hee Jin had received the stock options, she would have paid 45%. In addition to the stock option, um, stock options, had they given her stock options, she would be only able to sell it while she and own it while she is within the company. A stock can be sold and bought freely. So as a result, and then she negotiated for the put option, which means that she has the right to invoke the sale of the stocks back to HYBE when she wants it done. And at that time, they were estimating it was going to be around 100 billion, 80 billion won to 100 billion won. Okay. Now, April 22, still the same day, this was the very first time the name of the parents of New Jeans started appearing in the media. So there was an article in Top Star News stating that it was actually the parents of New Jeans who first raised the issue of plagiarism, and it wasn't Min Hee Jin. So according to their story, the parents of New Jeans approached um, Mama Roach and complained about the let me just set her as a matter, okay, and asked her to actually stop that, to make sure that the concept of New Jeans does not get copied. Now, also on the same day, the building layout was released. I'm sure that you remember this building layout where it was finally revealed. The top floor was actually it was given to a door instead of Big Hit, even though Big Hit has the biggest IP, which is BTS. So that was it was a big issue within South Korea because the top floor always belongs to the top management, the most powerful of them all. Now, that same day, it was revealed that it was actually her who organized everything and who decided on what kind of room was going to be used for what. And that is also the reason her group has their own makeup room, as revealed by B-Lift CEO. Okay, so 15th floor is Big Hit, 16th floor is Adore, 14th is B-Lift Lab. So a lot of people were very, very surprised that it wasn't Big Hit that was on the 16th floor. All right. Now, on April 25, the next day, HYBE revealed the existence of the shaman. So this is the very first time they actually revealed that Mama Roach was actually consulting a shaman, and they released the Kakao Talk the exchange of Mama Roach with the shaman. And so this is some of the translation. That is the entertainmentnaver.com. If you want to actually access the article of Dispatch with all the screen caps and the explanation, you can go to that. But here are some of the highlights of her exchanges with the shaman. And this is also where she revealed that she thinks the shaman is actually possessed by the spirit of her sister, and that she's actually talking to her sister instead of the shaman. Okay, this is the part when they revealed how she responded to the sexual harassment case or sexual harassment complaint that was filed by one of the employees of Adore. She was not happy with the complaint, and she basically gaslighted the employee, saying that, women are, they complain a lot and that they don't really work hard, and that they're just going to use anything and everything within their power, and also use sympathy to gain favor. Okay, so she's saying that from now on, I won't say a word to any female employees, even if, sorry, the M is her, and then A is the vice president. You never know which of them turns out to be a crazy bleep, so don't ask any woman. I seriously want to kill feminists. So you better not be a feminist or she will go after you. They suck at their jobs, and all they're good at is stuff like this. She'll pay for it, trying to F up someone else's life. Not an ounce of guilt for the wrong she did. If she did her job properly, I wouldn't be this mad. So blah blah blah. So essentially, she's blaming the other person. And then her exchange mocking Bang Shiyuk was also published. She said he calls those brainless children fans and ridiculous shit like that. I'm drunk on my own work ethic too, but all I do is go, can't you do this? Because for me it's easy. So I say I'm smart. So this is loose English translation. Essentially he's saying like, it's this simple, why can't they do it? Because for me it's so easy, because I'm smart, something like that. Okay, and then this is when she was planning how she was going to take over Adore, and she was exchanging text message with the former vice president, who has already been fired. So in 1 year, he said that, so in 1 year, according to the vice president, will bring down all of his delusions, the multi-label system, the American dream, platform, IT business. And then Mama Roach responded, if he's destined to go to hell, then he'll go to hell. Okay, now one of the meanest things that she ever texted to the shaman and to her other employees is about her girls, the group. She called them pigs. I just tell them to always be humble, even though they are fat like pigs. They are gaining popularity. Just want to make it clear that the girls aren't fat. They are very, very thin. Um they're very slim for even by any standards. They're not fat at all, but I guess for her they are fat. So continuing, she said they pretend to be cool by saying cool things, but if they don't actually say hello to me, I think I'll kill them. What do they know? Just look in the mirror, and they didn't get popular because they did well. This part, saying that they became popular not through their own efforts. This is something that she echoed even in her press conference. Also, there, if you go to the actual link, the actual article of Dispatch, there was a portion there where she specifically mentioned the name of one of the girl group members and called her fat. She's not fat. She's not fat. She's just tall, but she's not fat. It's natural. It's natural for you to be big, wider if you're taller. Okay. Okay. So I don't know why she calls them fat. So fat elementary schoolers who can't lose a single point and get scolded to death, that part. So wow, bleep is so fat and ugly. I was so surprised when when I saw the actual text without the bleep. It's like, how can you even see? She's pretty. She's so pretty. Oh, anyway, April 2025, this is the legendary very first press conference that she gave with the legendary shirt. By the way, I saw at least 10 people wear this during Halloween. And I wanted to wear it, by the way. Okay, so this is an actual picture during that press conference. Okay, now April 25, 2024, ARMS project was announced, and apparently, it was in conflict with the comeback of Mama Roach's group. Now there was a huge uproar saying that why are they doing this? They're mistreating the group. Now the next day, Hybe has didn't Big Hit did not respond right away. The next day, Hybe responds to the press conference. Okay, so and then the next day after that, not April 20 to 28, Big Hit explained that Mama Roach actually agreed to the simultaneous comeback. And by the way, RM is a senior artist. So if there's anybody who should be giving way, it should be them. Because he's a senior artist, number one. Second, he built that freaking building, that freaking company. So if he wants to ask everybody to not release an album on the day that he's going to release an album, they will not release an album. Whatever RM wants, RM should be able to get, no questions asked. Okay, just making that clear. Okay, so May 7, Mama Roach files an injunction to prevent Hybe from exercising its voting rights to remove her. Now she learned that since that they were actually asking her. Well, it's not that she heard about. It's not that it was a secret. Uh, Adore and Hybe actually announced that they wanted her to step down as the CEO, that they were going to exercise their voting rights. So she filed an injunction. Now the parents, May 12, 2024, the parents of Old Shorts claimed, they gave out an interview to Star News, and they said that Bang Shiyuk purposely ignored the members. So this is the elevator incident when Bang Shiyuk allegedly did not greet back the Old Shorts members. Okay. So my response to that is he should just not continue not greeting because with all the ways that things are getting twisted, if he was friendly with the girls, I'm sure they're going to give it a different spin. I think it's way better that he be accused of being a snub than an abuser or something. Jeez. Oh my God. Okay. So May 15th, HYBE was designated as a conglomerate. So it was formal, they became a conglomerate. They had some privileges, but it also means that they are going to be audited much more closely. May 16, Isle It was announced to be the next guest on Knowing Brothers. This is a huge impact. This has a huge impact because a lot of the fans of the girls of Mama Roach, said that it is unfair that while the girls, Mama Roach's group, actually has an active promotion, they are going to appear in a variety show. Now, Knowing Brothers explained that that it was pre-scheduled and that they didn't know when the comeback schedule of her group was going to be. Okay, May 17th, they started the injunction hearing, and a lot of things actually came out during that injunction hearing. One of which is the album pushing allegations. So she's claiming that one of the ways HYBE would inflate the numbers of the sales of an album is by pushing the album, meaning they are going to ship way more albums to stores than were actually ordered. For everybody's information, that is you can't force somebody to order more. You can negotiate, and that is a legal and popular exercise for any kind of business. So, one way to encourage, for example, retailers to buy more is if you're going to give them some special promotion. So, that's why idols would sometimes go to um, Target to do album signing. That is a part of Target's deal with YG, for example. I'm going to buy more. For example, I'm going to buy 500,000 more, but you're going to have to send Blackpink into my store so that they can do album signing. That is a promotional, that is part of their deal. So that is not illegal and that is not album pushing. It's just marketing. Okay. All right. So Representative Mins, so according to the article, this is the email that she's claiming to prove that there is album pushing happening. Okay. Now, May 19, 2024, Mama Roach mentioned that HYBE executives go to brothel, or you know what those are. So and they do that to entertain clients or partners or investors or vendors, which HYBE vehemently denied. May 15th, May 20, internet came out with receipts of Min Hee-jin's wiping choreographies and wardrobe fonts and even frame by frame shots of other groups. So the accusations, things that she is accusing It of doing or Lift of doing, internet actually found proof that it was her doing it. So this some of them. So she's copying them frame by frame almost. So one of the most popular copies she did is from the Latin group Jeans. So they also came out with receipts that many of the dance steps that she is claiming to have been copied by its dance director or visual directors were actually popular dance steps that other groups have done so many times before. So this is one such dance step. So this is attention, I think, when they were raising both hands. Okay, so 23 May 2024, Lift finally filed a lawsuit over claims of plagiarism. May 18, 2024, and this is how you know that these publications are actually paid. Ilgun Sports, which is an online publication in Korea, accuses HYBE of media play, claiming that the marketing officer of HYBE asked them to change an article. And this was in relation to the number of albums sold by New Jeans in Japan. So New Jeans, in their article, they said that New Jeans sold 1 million. And HYBE wanted to correct that because they need to correct it because shareholders are going to run after them for their dividends. That's one. Second, they are held responsible, legally responsible, to be accurate on the information they provide to the media. So they wanted it corrected for those reasons. And Ilgan Sports made it appear as if they are trying to put down New Jeans. May 29, Mama Roach actually won the injunction and she was very, very happy. She gave out her second press conference, and it seemed that she actually took a shower this time and she offered an olive branch. It's actually more than an olive branch, it was more a delusion because she's saying that she is the ideal person to lead a multi-label system. So she's basically asking HYBE to make her the head in of the CEO of HYBE, basically. All right, that was just crazy, a crazy thought. June 10 of 2024, Lift Lab released a 27-minute video refuting the plagiarism claims. And in here, the CEO of Lift Lab sort of explained that he can't stay quiet anymore because the mental health of the girls have been affected, and of course their business are getting affected. So she had to explain to everybody. He had to explain to everybody what really happened. Okay. In the meantime, June 30, it also became the very first K-pop rookie of the month of Billboard, and that made her very, very angry. Okay. July 15, Source Music joined the party and also filed a 500 million won lawsuit against Mama Roach. And I'm going to assume that they are suing her 100 million for each time that she, no, probably 1 million for each time she mentions Sakura's name, because in the very first, I remember in the very first press conference she mentioned Sakura's name like 6 times. And like there must be something about Sakura's name that is so beautifully beautiful to pronounce that she keeps on saying it. Okay. So July 23, Sakura is fine and she's thriving. So July 23, Dispatch came out with a second report that laid out the timeline of Mama Roach dissolving Source Music girl group plans. So in the report of Dispatch, they revealed that supposedly, um, where's that? Okay, so supposedly Bang Shiyuk was going to take care of the production of the girl group, the production of the music. And then Mama Roach was going to take care of the visual. And then everything else is going to be taken care of the CEO of Source Music. But somehow she managed to get the girls. She took three of the trainees. She fired two of the the other groups. Okay. And then so here this is an interesting part here. So Sung Jin is the name of the CEO of Source Music. So here he said that Min Hee Jin defined herself as someone who feels satisfied when things go as planned. Bang Shiuk and So Sung Jin did not break his will. They accepted Min Hee Jin's request for R&R adjustments more than 4 times. So what was happening is that they wanted to launch the girl group, but she keeps on delaying them. So each delay, they would just let her do what she wants. And then eventually, Min Hee-jin actually requested that she becomes the owner, that she puts up her own agency and she takes the girls to their side. Okay. Now, um, July 24, Mama Roach sues five HYBE executives. And that included the former CEO of HYBE. And then on July 26th, the shamanized herself. She disappeared. No one can find her. My God, she's that good. After creating all of this chaos, she just disappeared. No one can find her to this day. If you find her, let me know. I need her services. She's so good. August 8th, the sexual harassment victim, the girl that accused the former vice president Fedor of sexually harassing her and bullying her, came forward and said that Mama Roach actually manipulated the situation. The statement that she provided, that is why HYBE dismissed the case, because everything that HYBE got was actually manipulated. And so she was going after Mama Roach. August 27, the first time we all sort of felt any semblance of happiness in relation to this issue, Mama Roach was fired as CEO. So a lot of people collectively partially celebrated. September 11, New Jeans members did a live stream setting an ultimatum for Hyde to reinstate Mama Roach as CEO, and they set a deadline. They said you have to do this September 25. And so everyone was holding their breath. What was going to happen in September 25? Are they going to simultaneously walk out of the building, all of them together wearing green shirts, stripes with white? Are they going to file a lawsuit? Are they going to sing and dance? What's going to happen in September 25? September 12, Mama Roach files an injunction for Hyde to reinstate her as CEO. So she can't accept her fate yet. September 13, fans of the girls simultaneously started faxing a complaint to the Ministry of Employment and Labor. I was so surprised that fax still exists in this day and age. So and apparently they also regret it because everyone was faxing them with complaints. September 7, Mama Roach accepted HYBE's offer. September 17, she accepted the offer to stay as a board of director, but it wasn't formal yet. They still needed the shareholders meeting. Okay, September 25, the deadline of of her group actually arrived, and nothing happened. No song and dance number, no protest, no lawsuit. So we're not quite sure what was supposed to happen in September 25. Maybe there's like, I don't know, a witch that was supposed to curse Hybe. I don't know. But nothing happened on the 25th. October 15th, Hani testified before the National Assembly, complaining that she was bullied because one of the managers of Isle It said, ignore her to Isle It. And this is the famous picture of Hani smiling on a selfie with a guy whose company killed 23 employees, well, 7 employees in the first quarter of this year. What a good job. Okay. September 17 is the shareholders agreement of Adore. Mama Roach voted herself to become the CEO, but only she voted for herself. Allegedly, she walked out. She only attended it digitally. October 25, B Lift Lab CEO attended the National Assembly audit. And this is the comical time when because they released the internal document that was supposed to be a review of how netizens was actually viewing different girl groups and boy bands. And what High did was to release a press statement while they were doing the audit, alleging that everything that the National Assembly was showing is redacted and purposely designed to make their company look bad. So the National Assembly was fuming in anger. BLIF CEO was shocked that it was actually released. This press statement was released, but he apologized. Okay, October 29, Seoul Court dismisses Mama Roach's request to be reinstated as the CEO. So that's it. That is her last chance. No more chance to become the CEO. But the Seoul Court actually said that when it comes to the shareholders agreement, the main court should be reviewing that. October 29, same day, Hybe apologized for the internal document. And then November 13, Hybe, New Jeans announced that they are going to send a certified letter to Hybe with a list of demands. And if those demands aren't met, they are going to leave. And that included reinstating Min Hee Jin or Mama Roach as the CEO. And then 6 days after that, she resigns as a board of director, but promises that she is going to pursue cases. I just want to remind everybody, lawsuit. She's going to file a lawsuit. She will keep on suing Hybe. Okay, now just want to remind everybody of all the text messages that she sent to her people that is related to BTS, essentially wanting to destroy BTS because she knows that that is the only way that she's going to destroy Hybe. Don't want people to forget that. Okay, so a lot of here are some of the questions that I got in relation to this. Why did she resign? After why did she resign? After fighting to stay and after she was offered a chance to produce her group and being given a seat in the board of directors, why did she resign? I do think that it is to be free because I thought, given her game plan of destroying Hybe, staying in Hybe is actually one of the worst things that she can do because if she stays in Hybe, she has to promise that she can't do anything or say anything that will damage the reputation of Adore or Hybe, and that if she does that, then she is actually going to she can be held liable, legally liable for that. So that basically ties her down and it gags her. She can't do anything. If she moves out, if she leaves Hybe, then at least she won't have that level of responsibility. She can basically badmouth Hybe to and Adore to her heart's content. So I think that's one, freedom, which is actually what she said in her Instagram story. Next, the other thing is that one of the things that we do need to remember is that she has already lost. Even if, let us just assume that the court actually says no, the shareholders agreement stands, she has already expressed her intention to exercise her put option, and at this stage she is going to be she's going to go, she will only get about 20 million or 25 million, and she needs to pay back money to Bang Shiok. So she's really not, she won't be left with much. So, and then she can't go back as a CEO. So there's really not much for her to get. So why stay? Right? There's nothing for her. So why stay? The other reason could be that she has a new backer or that she lost all of her backers. She's getting a lot, she needs to pay a lot of money now to her lawyers. So if she does not, if she doesn't start paying, then, or if she continues incurring some expenses, then it's just going to sink her deeper. So that's another reason, probable reason. Next question, is she abandoning the girls? My gut feel is that she will let the girls find their way to her, but she's not going to be the one to try and pull them out of there. She's probably going to like verbally manipulate them, like, oh, I can't do much, I don't have money, blah, blah, blah. She's just going to allow the girls to find their way to her. But that could change if she has financial support, somebody that will buy out the contract of the girls. Do remember that the girls are still her only salvation at this stage. She has nothing. If she wants to continue in her K-pop journey, she's going to have to produce another group. So she's going to have to start from zero. So the best way is to just start with the girls, but then she needs some financial backing to be able to continue managing the girls. What happens to her put option right now is up to the court, right? Of course she's not going to get it from HYBE or from Adore as of now, because Adore actually terminated that agreement already. So she'll be lucky to pocket about 5 million, and that sounds like a lot, but really it's nothing if you're going to manage New Jeans. So does she have a non-compete? Of course she does. I'd be surprised if she doesn't. Okay, so that basically it. That's it for the for that part of our discussion. You said that he's on Jimmy Fallon. Jin is actually on Jimmy Fallon. So let's see. Um, I'm just scared that because YouTube is probably going to block me if I react to this. So if she has non-compete, how does she plan? If she has non-compete, how does she plan to work with the girls? Um, she's probably going to fight for the nullification of that. Like if she can prove that it was actually Hyde who breached the contract, then then she doesn't have to fulfill the non-compete, basically. I know Jen is on. It's just that I don't want to risk getting blocked by by YouTube. They've done that to me before. You're muting me. It's fine. Go ahead and watch him. What do her colleagues at SM say about her? Do they have anything to say on this goings on? They are. How do we watch him live? I'm going to answer that question. Go to YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, um, it is actually on right now. So go to YouTube. Just search for Jin on Jimmy Fallon. Okay. So how do we what do her colleagues at SM say about her? If you go to, there's a website called Blind where a lot of company that you can only sign onto that website if you have a an email address that is a corporate email address. Okay, so a lot of allegedly SM employees post a lot of things there about him and about her, sorry. And they're saying that one of the reasons that she's like she's really a nightmare to work with. That's why a lot of people don't even want to get involved in it with her, and that's one of the reasons she was fired. Of course, everyone, she's saying that she actually quit, but they said that that's one of the reasons she actually left. Like, she's not a happy person to work with.